My name is Sophia, and this is the story of how a boy I once loved with every fiber of my 20-year-old heart vanished, left me to raise a fragile daughter alone, and then, 15 years later, came back as a billionaire who tried to buy redemption with houses and cars, only to learn that the price of fatherhood is measured in time, not dollars. It is a story of heartbreak, survival, forgiveness, and the slow, stubborn miracle of second chances. I met Daniel in the summer of 2008, in the small coastal town of Port Haven, Oregon, where the fog rolls in every morning like a secret. I was a barista at Driftwood Coffee, saving tips for art school. He was 22, fresh out of the Navy, working construction on the new pier. He had sun-bleached hair, calloused hands, and a laugh that made the gulls stop circling. Every dawn he'd order a black coffee and linger by the pastry case, sketching sailboats on napkins. One day he slid a napkin across the counter, a charcoal drawing of me, eyes bright, hair wild from the wind. On the back he'd written, "You make the ocean jealous." We fell hard. We'd walk the tide line at sunset, barefoot, planning a life we believed was guaranteed. A tiny apartment above the bakery, 2 kids, a dog named Anchor. We dreamed out loud. He'd build boats, I'd paint murals on their hulls. Love felt unbreakable. Then came the fight. A stupid, explosive misunderstanding. I'd seen him talking to a girl from his crew after work. She'd touched his arm, he'd laughed. I was young, insecure, pregnant, but too scared to tell him. I accused him of cheating. He swore nothing happened, but pride is a cruel referee. Words were weapons. I told him to leave and never come back. He did. 3 weeks later, the test was positive. I wrote him letters, long, tear-stained pages tucked into envelopes I never mailed. I called once. His number was disconnected. I stood outside his trailer until the landlord said he'd shipped out to Alaska for a fishing contract. I was alone, terrified, and 19. Isabella was born on a stormy February night, 4 pounds 11 ounces, lungs too small, heart too weak. Tetralogy of Fallot, the doctors said. Open heart surgery at 3 months. Another at 2 years. The bills arrived like clockwork. $87,000, $112,000, $46,000. I waitressed double shifts, lived in a studio with peeling linoleum, sold my grandmother's pearl earrings. My parents helped. Dad took extra janitorial jobs. Mom sold Avon door-to-door. But it was never enough. Isabella's medicine alone cost $1,200 a month. I found Daniel on Facebook 2 years later. He'd changed his last name to his stepfather's, Reed instead of Carter, and moved to Seattle. I messaged him a single photo of Isabella in her tiny hospital gown, oxygen tubes in her nose. "She's yours. She needs you." He replied 3 days later, "I can't, I'm sorry." Then he blocked me. I tried again when she was 5, through a lawyer. He agreed to $150 a month, sent via Venmo with no note, no birthday card. It bought diapers and 1 bottle of her heart medication. I stopped asking. Years blurred. Isabella learned to walk with a limp from the surgeries, to blow kisses through the plastic of an oxygen mask. I learned to smile for her, to braid her thin hair, to sing lullabies in the dark when the machines beeped too loud. I stopped crying in front of her. I became a graphic designer from home, building a tiny freelance business between hospital visits. We survived. Then, in 2022, Isabella was 10. I opened Instagram one night to see a face I hadn't allowed myself to look for in years. Daniel Reed, CEO of Pacific Tide Robotics, grinning on a yacht. Forbes called him the West Coast's quiet billionaire. He'd invented a drone system for ocean cleanup. Governments and celebrities threw money at him. His wife, Claire, was a former news anchor with a smile like polished marble. They had twin boys, 7 years old, dressed in miniature tuxedos at galas. The captions, "Blessed family first, living the dream." I scrolled numb. A photo of Claire in a powder blue Bentley Continental, $380,000. Another of their new glass-walled mansion in Medina, listed at $14 million. A video of Daniel surprising Claire with a diamond necklace for their anniversary. The comments, relationship goals, such a good man. Isabella's next surgery was scheduled. $220,000. Insurance denied the new procedure as experimental. I stared at the GoFundMe I'd started. $3, 400 raised in 2 months. Then I stared at Daniel's perfect life. I posted our story on a local mom's Facebook group. Just the truth. The napkins sketch, the fight, the baby, the bills, the $150 checks. I included Isabella's hospital bracelet photo, her tiny hand clutching a stuffed octopus the nurses gave her. I didn't ask for money. I asked for justice. The post went viral. A news station picked it up. Then BuzzFeed, then CNN. Daniel Reed trending worldwide. People dug. The blocked messages, the child support stubs, the yacht photos. His company's stock dipped 8%. Sponsors paused campaigns. Claire posted a tearful Instagram story. We are praying for the child and handling this privately. The hate came for me too. Gold digger. Why now? Trying to ruin a family. I disabled comments, but the words lodged like shrapnel. I almost deleted everything. Instead, I focused on Isabella. We painted together watercolors of mermaids and submarines. I taught her to say, I am brave, every time the IV went in. I stopped checking Daniel's name. 2 years passed. Isabella was 12, stable on new meds, dreaming of becoming a marine biologist. I met Nathan, a quiet high school science teacher who loved board games and bad puns. He proposed on the pier where Daniel once drew me, with a ring made from sea glass. We married in a backyard ceremony. Isabella wore a dress the color of tide pools and carried a bouquet of daisies. Life was small, but it was ours. Then, on a rainy Tuesday in April 2025, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Sophia, it's Daniel. I nearly dropped the phone. His voice was older, thinner. I need to see her, please. Nathan squeezed my hand. We agreed to meet at Port Haven Park, neutral, public. Isabella clutched her sketchbook, nervous but curious. Daniel arrived in a simple gray hoodie, no security, no cameras. He looked 40, not 37 lines around his eyes, hair more salt than pepper. He carried a worn teddy bear and a manila envelope. When he saw Isabella, he sank to his knees on the wet grass. I'm so sorry, Bella, he whispered, voice cracking. I was a coward. She studied him, then held out her sketchbook. I drew you a boat. Mom said you used to build them. He took it with shaking hands. Inside the envelope, keys to a modest 3-bedroom house 2 blocks from the beach, paid in full. Title in Isabella's name. A trust fund statement, $2, $1 million, earmarked for medical, education, whatever she needed. A check for $500,000 made out to the Children's Hospital in honor of Isabella Carter Reed. And a letter, handwritten on heavy stationery. Sophia, I can't buy back the years I stole from you both. I was ashamed, then angry, then numb. Claire left when the truth came out. She kept the Bentley, I kept the guilt. I sold the yacht, dissolved the offshore accounts. I'm moving back to Port Haven. I want to earn the right to be her dad, one day at a time. No lawyers, no PR, just me showing up. Thank you for keeping her alive when I wouldn't. Daniel. He visits every Saturday now. He brings library books on oceanography, learns to braid hair, badly, sits through Isabella's cardiology appointments without flinching. He paid for the experimental surgery. It worked. Her heart is stronger than ever. Claire reached out 6 months later. She started a foundation for children with congenital heart defects. Isabella is its first ambassador. We meet for coffee sometimes. She says Daniel cries in the shower, rereads Isabella's old medical records like penance. He's trying, she says, really trying. Last week, Isabella asked if she could take Daniel's last name. I said yes. The paperwork is filed. Isabella Reed. She still calls Nathan Dad. He tucks her in, helps with algebra, builds sandcastles. Daniel calls him Sir and thanks him every visit. We're not a fairy tale. Trust is a slow-growing thing. But on Sundays, you can find us at the Tide Line. Nathan teaching Isabella to fly a kite, Daniel pushing her swing, me sketching the scene on a napkin. The wind carries laughter instead of fog. I kept the original charcoal portrait Daniel drew of me all those years ago. It hangs in Isabella's bedroom now, above a new sketch. She drew the four of us, holding hands, the ocean behind us calm and endless. Pain carves deep channels, but love, given time and truth, can reroute rivers. My daughter smiles with her whole heart, and that is the only currency that matters.